Just wanted to make a quick video on the transgender issue, specifically what Alex Yard thinks about the transgender issue, how he defines trans rights, how he defines his support for trans people, and how he defines the role of others in terms of setting back trans rights or supporting trans rights. Because the thing is that trans issues are a very philosophical, very subjective debate, which means that it's not the same as a scientific inquiry. For example, I'm measuring any type of matter or any type of chemical in some way, measuring its properties. This can be done on a replicable, objective basis. Trans issues are not like this. It is a subjective philosophical debate. And the main issue of the trans issue is that many people who are transgender or who believe in trans rights feel the need to advocate for their support in such a way in which they want to put their specific interpretation of um, gender identity over others and want to conflate this with human rights. Trans people have the same human rights as anybody else. They do not deserve or do not have or should legally be required to be treated with the same amount of respect as any other person or any other individual on this planet and should not be discriminated against for their identity. However, in terms of the gender question, there's multiple different viewpoints, all of which are equally valid, which means there is not one opinion which holds weight over the other. And in terms of the sexual question, people choose to define gender and sex, some people, on a biological basis, which is based on gamete production, disposition, and this is a completely valid way to do gender identity because the vast majority of people fall in two camps or two binaries, and this has been the case for all of human history as long as something you can say has human existed. Whereas trans people and trans supporters want to say the social role of what is called a woman or a man has changed and has been fluid in many civilizations. Therefore, our identity is valid, which is a valid point of view. However, does not deserve or does not have the right to be imposed upon others. Which means that, in terms of how an entity treats trans people, they have the right to treat the question of gender or sexuality, or however they choose to define it, in any way that fits their personal philosophical point of view. And trans people have a right to respond to that in any way which is legal and which fits with how they want to express themselves in terms of their disagreement towards that kind of behavior and does not involve terrorism or shooting up somebody or whatever. So I want to ask Alex Yard what he thinks about this topic. Because I do think it is important, because I think Alex Yard is an important commentator. Most people don't like him, but the fact is, many people listen to him, so his opinion has an impact on what people in the gaming community who are not very informed do and think on a daily basis. Goodbye.